Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 22. Still to come in this part, the final episode before Destruction. Chris Jericho, Y2J, will go one-on-one with The Undertaker. The Undertaker prepares for his last man standing match against Sting at Destruction, whereas Jericho has a point to prove against the Dead Man. That is live, and it's later on in this part. And to kick off this part, another champion versus champion matchup featuring the hardcore legend, that is Raven. Quote the Raven, nevermore. He enters the arena with the NLW Hardcore Championship, and this Sunday at Destruction he will put that hardcore title on the line against John Cena. John Cena over the past couple weeks has been played, if you will, by Raven. Raven has played mind games with John Cena. However, last week, before the match was announced for Destruction, Raven was in the backstage and Cena would attack him from behind, and with a pipe to the back of the skull, prevented Raven from interfering in his matchup later that night. And here's a guy that's going to face Raven right now in this champion versus champion matchup. This is the second champion versus champion match of Chris Benoit's week. This past week on Metal, he went one-on-one with the world champion Triple H. He came so close to making him tap out when who else but Chris Jericho would cause the disqualification and attack Chris Benoit. Chris Jericho earlier tonight by the commissioner was given the Intercontinental title match at Destruction he wanted. At Destruction it will be a submission match, Chris Benoit versus Chris Jericho for the IC title, but the commissioner said earlier tonight, so both men were present, he said that if Benoit interferes in Jericho's matchup, there'd be consequences. If Jericho interfered in Benoit's matchup, there would also be consequences, so they're not interfering in each other's matches here tonight. This is going to be a clean fight for each of them. Raven going one-on-one with Benoit, he goes off the ropes and a dropkick by Benoit. Benoit, a second high-profile matchup in the space of a week, put on a hell of a performance on Metal against Triple H even. Raven hasn't competed since the night after WrestleMania, and that was when he was attacked by Cena the first time. Raven has never faced John Cena before, but he will do so at Destruction if he puts on a good showing against Benoit tonight. He'll put him on notice, and you notice the sportsmanship between these two at the start of this matchup. They shook hands, they have a mutual respect for each other, and what a slap by Benoit. Mutual respect shown at the beginning, but that doesn't mean they're going to kick the hell out of each other later on, and covered by Raven, broken up by Benoit in his submission on the leg. Raven, though, manages to get to the ropes just about. Destruction 2 weeks from this Saturday, and you see the intensity that Benoit brings. Do you see what he had in his hand? He had a lock of Raven's hair. Benoit was so vicious with Raven, he actually had a lock of Raven's hair in his hand. That just goes to show you how vicious, you see with a headbutt, how vicious Benoit is, even against somebody he has mutual respect for, such as Raven. If he's doing this sort of style matchup against Raven, you can't believe what he's going to do to Jericho on Sunday, but there is the dive through the ropes. Athleticism by Benoit there, high risk, but a high reward there. Of course, Benoit is going to face something totally different when he goes up against Chris Jericho at Destruction in the submission match for the Intercontinental title. It will be only Benoit's second title defense, and Raven also heading into his second title defense at Destruction. It is live and late flipping hell, tongue-tied again. Later here tonight, the Hell in a Cell structure will be here in person. Triple H and Shawn Michaels set to meet in Hell in a Cell this Sunday at Destruction, and they will confront each other in the structure later on tonight. Let's follow an incredible matchup here. Oh my god, you see the velocity that Raven was flung into that ring post by Benoit, and now a knee to the skull. Benoit, high impact, high intensity here. He is going all out against the mysterious Raven. He's obviously had a troubled past. He made that clear to Cena a few weeks back on Metal. However, that's not going to stop him from beating the hell out of him in the hardcore title matchup on Sunday. Here's the cover by Raven, following the Bulldog, and the kick out by Chris Benoit. Benoit is being beaten up by Raven at the moment, and is he going to go for a German? But Benoit turns around. Benoit turns it around, and here's a German suplex by Benoit. Vintage of him. Raven in trouble, and now you see Benoit points to the top rope. He knows where he wants to go. He wants to go to the top rope. Raven gingerly making it to his feet. Can he do it in time? But manages to move out of the way, and Benoit crashes and burns. Face first onto the canvas goes Benoit, just about getting up, and here's a drop kick by Raven. Again, Benoit's down, he's in trouble, but Benoit reverses, and now now he's got the crossface locked in. Can he send a message to Jericho and make Raven tap out? Is he going to get a victory over the Hardcore Champion right now? We shall see. But Raven about to pin him, and nearly had the IC Champion beat. But Raven now spreads the wings, and it looks as if he's going to put it away. Raven effect perhaps, he's got it locked in, cinched. But here's a rollover, and the bridge, and now another roll through. And again, Chris Benoit rolls through, and the win. Catching out Raven, and Chris Benoit picks up the victory here tonight. Chris Benoit getting the job done, and a monumentous week for him. Despite tapping out at the hands to Chris Jericho last week on Metal, he's put a major stamp on his momentum by defeating Raven live here tonight. Raven a little bit miffed that he lost that one, but still a sign of sportsmanship there to shake the hand of the man he lost to, and got a newfound respect for Raven perhaps, as does Benoit, but nevertheless, he won this matchup, and it was quite back and forth for the majority of it. Raven went for the Raven effect, Benoit with a bridge, and then it was a series of pins that ultimately led to the knees of Benoit. You see there on the shoulders of Raven, not letting him get up at all, and Raven, the Hardcore Champion, doesn't get the momentum he'd probably like. Although to be fair to him, it's his first match back. Obviously, the pipe shot from Cena last week still taking its toll on Raven. But nevertheless, the Intercontinental Champion Chris Benoit picking up a major victory, heading in on the final episode until Destruction. He goes one-on-one with Jericho in a submission match for the IC title at Destruction. And Raven, oh wait a minute, look who's jumped the crowd barrier. Oh god, it's Cena. Cena from behind. And Raven scouted it, and the Raven effect to Cena. John Cena trying to get a sneak attack in before his match with Raven at Destruction for the Hardcore title. Raven having none of it. He had that one scouted, and that nightstick is in his hand, and it's clobbered off the skull of Cena. Raven making sure Cena does, oh my god, look at the laceration on his forehead. Raven busting open the champ. Raven busting open the Doctor of Thugonomics. John Cena has been busted open at the hands of Raven, and he thought he was going to get a cheap sneak attack in, like a cowardly villain he is. But the Hardcore Champion having none of it, and proving why he is the Hardcore legend that he is. Raven this Sunday at Destruction will put the Hardcore title on the line against Cena. Cena has tried to make an impression, but Raven proving here tonight he is still a Hardcore legend.
Intensity, ruthlessness, brutality. Just when you think it can't get any more brutal, it will. The extremes of which these men will go to are unfathomable. They will fight to the death. They will fight for what they believe in. They will fight for their lives. And all that is left is destruction. No Limits Wrestling Destruction Live.
And this here tonight is the final episode before Destruction. It will come your way live on August the 23rd for Destruction. One of the matches that has been made for the event, as previously mentioned, is for the NLW Tag Team titles. You're sure to remember the controversy surrounding Chavo and Hernandez against Kofi and Truth. Well, there you see our Truth coming out of the starting block, attacking Chavo from behind. Last week on NLW, R-Truth attacked Chavo Guerrero in the backstage, causing a distraction. And if you've been documenting this feud, it's really been mainly about R-Truth's transformation. It started at WrestleMania, R-Truth getting deliberately disqualified at WrestleMania in order to retain the tag team titles by any means necessary. He knew they were going away. There's a huge roundhouse by Chavo. Knew they were getting away from him, so at WrestleMania, hitting the tag team title belt off the skull of Chavo and getting deliberately disqualified. It is a cover by Chavo, but R-Truth managing to kick out. And the way that R-Truth has conducted himself in recent weeks, it's obviously shown how he has changed as a person, as evidenced by this onslaught on Chavo Guerrero. You see the number of punches connecting off of the skull and the way in which he brutally assaulted him at the start of this matchup. And my God, what a drop kick. That must have winded him. And now you see here the way in which he's viciously driving his foot into the throat of Chavo. He's in pretty much a hell of a lot of trouble, but R-Truth in control for the moment, and now dropped on his back and skull. Here's a cover, and now roll up by Chavo, and almost had him caught out like the match we saw earlier. Truth and Kofi Kingston, the reigning tag team champions, one half of the tag team champions, and R-Truth going up against Chavo as an elbow to the back right there. Kofi and Truth versus Chavo and Hernandez for the tag team titles. That will happen at Destruction. It's a WrestleMania rematch, and Chavo looking like he's doing the deed on R-Truth at the moment, but tied out. And the lie detector. Lie detector by R-Truth out of nowhere, and here's a cover in the win by R-Truth. R-Truth has won this matchup, but I don't think he's done. And oh my God, what? This isn't called for. R-Truth getting the steel chair from under the ring, and what the hell is this about? He's back in the ring, for God's sake. And oh my God, steel chair shots to the back of Chavo Guerrero. And is there really any need for that? Last week he attacked him, and oh, here comes Hernandez to make the save, but oh my God, right off of the face. Hernandez leveled out with that steel chair, and if Truth's not stopped, he could cause serious injury. But look at this. Kofi Kingston, R-Truth's tag team partner of all people, coming in and saving the team of Chavo and Hernandez. He didn't want this one to end the way it did. However, R-Truth viciously assaulting the challengers for their tag team titles at Destruction. And Kofi Kingston, he had an attack of conscience. His conscience was telling him to stop the onslaught before it got too serious, and well, the fact of it is the lie detector did it for R-Truth, but then it was the post-match assault that did it, attacking Chavo and Hernandez with a steel chair. And this is where Kofi Kingston decided to stop his tag team partner from inflicting any more damage. Kofi Kingston has questioned the decisions made by R-Truth in the past couple of weeks, and you see him on the outside now telling him why the hell he did what he just did. Kofi and Truth have always gone by the rules, but it seems as of late R-Truth has been doing anything in his power to try and keep those tag team titles. R-Truth would argue that to combat R-Truth, and you see him being told off by Kofi Kingston, those teams will go up against each other for the tag team titles Sunday at Destruction. And also happening at Destruction is a last man standing match. It will be, as you see there, The Undertaker going one-on-one with the Icon Sting. It's a WrestleMania rematch at WrestleMania. The Undertaker went one-on-one with Sting, and it was on that occasion The Undertaker defeating Sting in the middle of the ring. And however, after Undertaker put his hand out to congratulate Sting on a well hard-fought matchup, Sting on episode 20 knee him in the crotch. Following Sting's matchup against the Big Show last week, Undertaker came out and decided to take matters into his own hands. What he did was decide to distract Sting and cost Sting his matchup against the Big Show. Then The Undertaker came out and challenged Sting to a last man standing matchup at Destruction. It will happen, last man standing matchup, Undertaker versus Sting at Destruction, However, Undertaker up next goes one-on-one with Y2J, Chris Jericho. And with that huge last man standing match on the horizon, Undertaker looks to take out this guy here tonight, who earlier tonight was told by the commissioner that at Destruction he would get an Intercontinental title matchup as he had asked. Here he comes to the ring, Y2J Chris Jericho. Earlier tonight, the commissioner briefed him and Chris Benoit and told them not to interfere in each other's matches because he made earlier tonight a matchup for Destruction. At Destruction, it will be Chris Benoit going up against that man, Chris Jericho, for the Intercontinental Championship in a submission match. This past week on Metal, at the conclusion of Benoit's matchup with Triple H, Chris Jericho came out and made Chris Benoit tap out. So with both men having tapped out to each other's finishing maneuvers, makes the submission match Sunday even more intriguing. But here's a guy who's looking to stunt the momentum Jericho's been on and defeat him in the middle of the ring. That man, the Phenom, The Undertaker. Former World Heavyweight Champion in NLW, the first ever World Heavyweight Champion in NLW, about to make his way to the ring for this matchup against Chris Jericho. As mentioned before, The Undertaker will go one-on-one with Sting at Destruction in a last man standing rematch from WrestleMania. Who will be the last man standing at Destruction, Undertaker or Sting? Last week The Undertaker distracted Sting, cost him his matchup, then came to the ring and cut a promo telling him he was going to give him his rematch that he requested, and it was going to be this time a last man standing matchup. That will happen at Destruction, but right now Chris Jericho going one-on-one with The Undertaker. Jericho wants to throw hands with the Deadman, and I'm not sure how wise that is, but he rolls him through. Oh, and this is really crafty by Jericho. Here's a roll-up, but Undertaker manages to kick out. Now he's in the corner, and Jericho with a punch. Although you don't want to throw hands with the Deadman, it's a risky area. He's just followed by the throat, and now he's in the corner, and a hard shot to the face of Jericho, and thrown right across the ring into that turnbuckle, but Jericho with a wherewithal, kick him in the stomach. Got to get back into this, but a clothesline over the ropes. Jericho on the back foot for now, and The Undertaker, with Sting on his mind, is in complete control. Of course, at Destruction in that last man standing matchup, there will be no pinfalls, submissions or disqualifications. Only way to win is by making your opponent not answer the count of 10. And of course with Chris Jericho, he can go for a pin on Undertaker tonight, but at Destruction he's not going to be able to do so because it's a submission match, and he's going to try and lock in those walls, hopefully against The Undertaker later on this matchup. And can you imagine what momentum and what a message Chris Jericho would send if he somehow managed to beat The Undertaker in this matchup tonight? Undertaker on the top rope looking for old school, but dragged off by Jericho. What strength by Jericho to throw him off to the top, and The Undertaker now being beaten up by Jericho, stiff shots to the face. And Jericho, now he's taunting this audience, and he managed to throw Undertaker right off the top rope. As we take a look back at this, Undertaker thinking old school, Jericho had other plans. Throwing him, my God, with one arm. And the arm drag from the top, Jericho now back in control, and now driving that massive boot into the jaw of The Undertaker. Last week Chris Jericho didn't compete, hasn't competed in a one-on-one matchup since WrestleMania, where he lost in that triple threat matchup for the IC title as Undertaker lunges at him forward, managed to get rid of that, and a drop kick by Jericho. Of course last week Jericho in the middle of the ring was presenting the highlight reel when he went on a rampage and basically attacked Benoit. Benoit making Jericho tap out to the crossface. Of course we learned that Jericho would make him, oh my goodness, what a knee to the stomach, and throws Undertaker right out of the ring. Submission match going to cause much intrigue, but Undertaker, if he does not get back into this one, isn't going to have a lot of momentum to speak of when he's facing Sting, and he's thrown back first into the barricade. Jericho, first ever undisputed champion, we know that, but he has not held NLW gold yet. He would like to start at Destruction by winning the Intercontinental title, and if he continues this vicious beatdown of the Deadman, and look at the way in which he's driving the feet into the back of Undertaker, choking him out, and the referee's got a 5 count to work with, and he does. Undertaker in trouble, but there's an elbow right to the face and jaw. Jericho now in trouble, but only momentarily. There is a drop toe hold, and now Jericho again showing little respect for the Undertaker, driving that big boot right into the skull, and look at that, my God, right on the face. Y2J now has the opportunity to make a name for himself against the Phenom, and he's a punch there, but the dead man back and retaliates, my goodness. Hard shot by Taker, and now Chris Jericho trying to get as far away as possible, but it's not going to work at the moment. Clotheslined into the corner, and now is he going to go for it? Snake Eyes and the big boot. Sends him down with authority, and slapping that leg to show the power that he has. Undertaker now in the driver's seat. Jericho's in one hell of a predicament. He's followed by the throat, but manages to go away, and there's another punch by Undertaker. Now he's in control, but runs at him, oh God. And we know the various injuries by Undertaker has been well documented in the past. That's not going to help his legs. And now Y2J beating up Taker at the moment. Jericho, hard shots in the corner. Undertaker has to find a way back into this one. Jericho has the powerhouse in control. Oh my. Are we going to see a last ride? But a reversal and a code breaker. What a reversal by Jericho. I think he's in a bit of a shock. If he'd gone for the cover, he may have well as win this. Good grief. Code breaker out of nowhere. And now, what's he going to do? Add insult to injury perhaps. Has him on the shoulders. And on my Undertaker tombstone perhaps. But Jericho again reverses. Stops the crowd noise for the moment. Now Jericho going for the lion salt, but misses and gets the legs instead. Knees into the stomach of Jericho. And now maybe the Undertaker can get back into this. Gonna go for the chokeslam again. Follows him by the throat. But an arm drag by Jericho, and he's down again. And now here we go, here we go. The move that's made many people tap out in the past. It made Benoit tap out this past week on Metal. And what a message it would send if the Undertaker tapped out to the walls. But he's not at the moment. He manages to go through under that one. And now he's Father Ramai. But the Undertaker, what a reversal. And now that triangle choke. Hell's Gate submission. Undertaker with a Hell's Gate submission. And right in the middle of the ring. Jericho has nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. And oh, wait a minute, Sting. Damn it, Sting. Coming in with that nightstick. And Sting just couldn't wait until destruction. And his last man standing matchup, he had to go after Undertaker here tonight, and now I think that nightstick shot knocked him out. He's unconscious for God's sake, and there's the Scorpion Death Drop by Sting. Sting causing the disqualification. Undertaker's going to win this by DQ, but still, Sting, what the hell is he thinking now? Could not wait until his last man standing matchup. He was humiliated by Undertaker last week, and he's getting his vengeance. Oh my God, what the hell? Sting, no! Oh God! Sting throwing Undertaker right into that technical pit. Undertaker's... he's unconscious for God's sake.
1.
Oh no, nah, don't do this.
2.
And Sting having the audacity
3.
to count down the Undertaker.
4.
Just like at Last Man Standing at Destruction, Sting counting out the
6.
Undertaker. He's at 6.
7. 8.
And that's enough.
9. 10.
And if this was the Last Man Standing matchup at Destruction, Sting would have won. But it's not. He chose to sneak attack the man, hitting him with the nightstick, the Scorpion Death Drop, and then to add insult to injury, throwing him in that technical pit. The technical equipment and everything there. Undertaker thrown into it, and his lifeless body is just knocked unconscious in that pit, and Sting counting down to 10, so damn proud of himself. But give credit where credit's due. Chris Jericho put up a hell of a fight, but then Sting came in and hit the Scorpion Death Drop, but this is where he threw the Undertaker right into the technical equipment and in that pit, and this is where you see him counting out the Undertaker just like at Last Man Standing. At Destruction they will go one-on-one in a Last Man Standing matchup, and look at Sting, the way he's sitting next to him. Undertaker, his lifeless body is hanging on that barricade, and Sting has sent a major message to the dead man here tonight. Maybe at WrestleMania Sting couldn't get the victory, but at Last Man Standing matchup anything goes, and when Sting knows anything goes, he can be a deadly force to be reckoned with. Last Man Standing, Sting versus Undertaker, scheduled for Destruction. Well, ladies and gentlemen, after the break, Triple H and Shawn Michaels, before they go one-on-one in a Hell in a Cell match at Destruction for the world title, they step inside Hell in a Cell up next to confront each other before the pay-per-view matchup.